Hey, what's up, YouTube? Another video because some crazy things have been happening, okay? So, this is more so of an update, and I just want to hear what you guys think about this. Because this is, how do I say? I'm not used to kind of venturing off in this type of thing, and but you know what, it's all like that. When I first started to get into anything, I was a little bit skeptical. I was a little weird. So look, I had this weird dream. Let's start with that weird dream a few months back, and I dreamed that I was with my mother and I went to an island, and when we went to this island, there was somebody else that I met there. It was a really big house with these high steps, and I went up there, and it was a lady. She looked like she was close to my complexion, and she had really long hair, like all the way down her back. And she also had a daughter who also had long hair. So the daughter looked like she might have been 15-ish. The mother looked like she might have been 40, 50, somewhere around there, but she still looked really good for her age. So when I was there, one of the things that happened while I was at the house, I think she was conversating with my mom or something like that in a dream. And then she randomly like grabs me by the shoulder and tells me, "You've forgotten who you are." And I woke up. Now, I had researched it a little bit, but I didn't really get too deep into it because I was conflicted as to what exactly the dream meant. Now, what was kind of interesting about this, now, my grandmother never knew her grandmother, and she used to tell me that from what she heard from her mother was that her grandmother used to have long hair that was all the way down her back, which was kind of weird. Such a coincidence. You get what I'm saying? Get down. Sorry, y'all. So, I left it there. I actually put it on my wall, and it's been there for some months because I knew I would come back around to it. So, lately, after I've gotten into tarot, some other things have been coming up that's I'm like really having this need to be more connected with my ancestors, know where I came from. And the thing is that I had thought like maybe I should research it a little bit more or get more into it or whatever, but I was a little bit unsure about it because of given the religion I grew up in. So I had asked the cards about it, and when it came up, it said that I had to let go of like past things that I had learned and actually look at this stuff from a new perspective. So I was like, that was spot on. It was like creepy. So I ended up leaving it alone for a little while. And then the following week, I ended up doing some research on stuff because I kind of had an idea to possibly pay respects to ancestors by having like an ancestor altar, right? So when I started looking up ways to actually have an ancestor altar, I was a little bit conflicted because of some of the things that were being done and because of how I had been taught. Mind you, that usually when you're doing an ancestor altar, what's going to happen is you have to have at least four of the elements represented on the table, which wasn't a big deal to me. And then you put a picture of the ancestors that you know. If you don't know, like, or don't have a picture, then you show their names on there. And the only thing that I was conflicted about, well, it was two: the offering of food, which I thought was a little weird, and the ancestor money. So this is my first time ever hearing about ancestor money. I've never heard of this a day in my life. And I was really conflicted about it. You're supposed to offer it up to the ancestors. And it's not literally money. It represents something. And when you burn this money, they said that it would basically give the energy to your ancestors in order to help you. So when I started getting deeper and deeper into this, researching it like crazy, I asked the cards about it. I got told to wait for important information and to shift my perspective, I'm sorry, shift my perspective. And right before I went to bed, you guys, I said a prayer to God. I said, look, I'm not trying to step on your toes with this. I said, I'm not trying to put anybody before you. But I'm trying to have an understanding about this. You get what I mean? And I said, if this is the case that I should continue to do this, I said, send me a dream tonight with my ancestors in it, okay? Mind you, I've I can think about stuff before I go to bed, and I'm not going to dream about it. Okay? Never. Never. I will never dream about it. The only way I can dream about it is if maybe it's something ridiculous like a death. You get what I'm saying? I went to sleep that night, and I had this really weird dream of a like southern looking house with like a wraparound porch, like the big porch it kind of looks like during like slavery. And at the top of the steps, which would lead to the door, there was two of those straw chairs, like the big wide ones that you always see like your parents take photos in. I don't know why that was a thing, but you know what I'm talking about. And in each chair on the left, there was a gentleman there, older guy. He was kind of heavy, dark skin with white hair, and he was sitting on the left. And on the right, there was a lady that looked like she was in African clothing. She had like this sash looking thing going across her. She had her hair wrapped, and she was also dark skinned, and she was sitting there. And then underneath them was two sets of other people. I couldn't really make out their faces, but I think this is a big representation of show how high up or how far down the line they were. They were like basically the matriarchs, if you will, I guess you should say. So I woke up from it after I saw that. Also, during that dream, I saw the ancestor money flashing constantly. So I woke up and I was like, that was kind of weird. Kind of left it alone and thought maybe it was because I had been thinking about it before I went to bed. And I went back to sleep after I had, like, my husband asked me for water, brought him the water. And again, I never can finish dreams after I woke up from them. I will get mad at you if I was in the middle of a good dream, because I'm not going to go back to that if I go back to sleep. I was starting to fall back to sleep, and I saw a lady that was a Native American with long hair with feathers in her hair. And then I woke up again. And then I went back to sleep, and I saw one more person. That memory's a little fuzzy. I can't remember. But guys, that is probably like the most on point thing I've like had happen to me spiritually. So right now, I am trying to basically assess how any of this makes sense. Like, I'm open-minded. It's just, we've been programmed so badly, and that's why it's hard to kind of get away from it. You get what I'm saying? And I do want to actually look into maybe making an ancestor altar. I don't know which way I'm going to go about doing it. I think that I'm pretty much set on the ancestor money. I just don't know about this offering food thing. I don't know. You get what I mean? I'm not, and to understand that anybody that does, I have nothing against you, but just understand that, I came from a different, like, background, and it's just, if this would have been something we had been doing every day, I would have been used to it. You get what I mean? But I'm just not used to that. So, the most that I can say that I've seen that kind of relates to this that would make sense is in the Bible. It actually says, honor your father and your mother, and that's a commandment. Now, one thing that's really interesting about that is the fact that, we always got yelled at about it when we were getting whoopings when we were kids. Honor your father and your mother, for the life you live on God's land will be longer, something like that. I can't quote it correctly, but that's what we used to hear. But did you ever think that maybe it meant to honor your mother and your mother's mother and your mother's mother's mother? You get what I mean? Because you did come from them, and they did go through a lot, and they did bring you here. That's the whole reason I'm here. And the one that conflicts with this is not bringing up the dead. I can't remember what prophet it was, but it was a person in the Bible, and he brought up a prophet that had passed already, and he came back and told him he wasn't supposed to do that and that he was going to kill him. Of course, I'm not trying to do some sort of ritual to bring people up, but I kind of find this similar with an altar. But the thing is that I always like to research things before I do them. This is nothing that I just jump into. I'm always careful about what I do. I always ask for guidance from God and my angels, so I am stuck. I just want to hear what you guys think about this, because it's actually pretty interesting. There's a lot more that I learned on it, but I'm not trying to have this be like a 20-minute video, you get me? So tell me what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Have any of you ever heard of ancestor money? Do any of you actually practice this? According to, that's another thing I can say real quick. In a Western society, us being in America, we're actually the only people just about in the world that do not like pay, what's the word that I'm looking for? We don't pay respect to our ancestors, to honor them, type of thing. We're the only ones. Every other religion just about does it. So I just want to know your thoughts on this. So until next time, I'll talk to you guys later.